All right, Bills Mafia, gather round, because we've got a lot to unpack today. And let me tell you right now, this team is working every single day to get better, sharper, and stronger so that when September hits, they're ready to bring you something special. We're talking about a group that's committed to fixing every little detail, improving in every phase of the game, and making sure we don't just talk about the Super Bowl. We go and win it. Before we dive in, hit that like button, drop a comment to let us know you're watching, and subscribe so you don't miss any breaking Bills news. Trust me, you'll want to be here for every twist in this story. Let's start with what's been shaking things up this week, the Tyler Bass situation. Our rock-solid kicker, the guy who has drilled big-time field goals in snow, rain, and playoff pressure, is dealing with a pelvic injury. Yeah, not great news. Bass has been a clutch weapon for us over the past 5 seasons, 131 for 155 on field goals, nearly automatic on extra points, and more than a few game winners that had all of Highmark Stadium losing their minds. But for now, he's got a rest, which means the Bills needed insurance. Enter Caden Davis. Some of you might not know the name yet, but you will soon. Davis signed with the Jets as an undrafted free agent earlier this year, but after Nick Folk came to town, Davis was cut loose. His college resume solid at Ole Miss. He went 42 for 50 on field goals over the last 2 seasons. Not bad at all. He's going to get his first shot in Bills blue during the preseason opener against the Giants. Now, don't panic. The hope is that Bass is back by week 1 against Baltimore. But let's be real, special teams can swing games, especially in the postseason. And having a backup ready to go isn't just smart, it's necessary. Speaking of injuries, we've also got wide receiver Khalil Shakir sidelined with a high ankle sprain. Coach Sean McDermott says he's progressing well and is on track for week 1, but man, his presence will be crucial. Shakir emerged last season as one of Josh Allen's most reliable targets. The chemistry's there, the hands are there, and without him, the depth chart gets tested fast. But the bigger off-field drama, James Cook, the man who led the league in touchdowns last season, the guy who's been electric in our backfield, isn't participating in practice. He's there, sure, but this is a hold-in, a classic contract standoff. Cook's in the final year of his rookie deal and he knows his worth, especially after seeing other guys get paid this offseason. Josh Allen's been vocal about wanting Cook on the field. He's called him one of the best in the league, and he's right. Over the past 2 years, Cook's been a consistent difference maker. But in this league, money talks, and right now, the Bills front office and Cook's camp need to find middle ground before this turns into something that lingers into the season. And while all that's going on, the rumor mill's spinning like crazy, this time about a possible trade for none other than Micah Parsons. Yeah, you heard that right. The Dallas Cowboys game-wrecking linebacker. NFL insider Eric Edholm floated the idea. And while the math doesn't exactly work right now with the salary cap, the thought of Parsons lining up next to guys like Joey Bosa and Greg Rousseau, that's terrifying for opposing quarterbacks. Look, I get it. The Bills have been knocking on the door for years now. We've had one of the league's most explosive offenses. But when it came to the biggest defensive stops in the postseason, we've fallen just short too often. Parsons could change that. He's a disruptor. A guy who changes offensive game plans just by stepping on the field. Sure, the price would be steep. Draft picks, maybe some roster movement, but the idea here is simple. Buffalo's Super Bowl window is open right now, and windows in the NFL, they don't stay open forever. Adding a player like Parsons could be the difference between being close and finally getting over that hump. And here's the kicker, no pun intended. If the Bills did pull the trigger on a deal like this, they could use the franchise tag next year to buy time for a long-term extension. It's not perfect cap math, but it's not impossible either. Yeah, I know punters don't always get the same spotlight as Josh Allen or Stefon Diggs used to. But if you've been watching football long enough, you know that a great punter can flip a game on its head. Field position is everything. And in the AFC, where every inch matters, having the right guy back there can be the difference between keeping the opponent pinned deep or giving them a free runway to score. Right now, the Bills are in a pretty unique situation. Technically, we only have one punter on the roster at this exact moment, Brad Robbins, former Cincinnati Bengals 6th-round pick. But before anyone starts thinking, well, guess he's the starter, pump the brakes. This is still very much a competition. Special teams coordinator Chris Tabor made it clear, Robbins has not won the job. Not yet. Here's the backstory. The Bills signed Jake Camarda, the former starting punter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, earlier this offseason to battle Robbins for the gig. The two went head-to-head through OTA letters and minicamp, and it looked like we were headed for a full-blown training camp duel. But football is a numbers game in more ways than one. When tight end Dawson Knox landed on the non-football injury list right at the start of camp, the Bills were forced into some roster gymnastics to make room elsewhere, and unfortunately, that meant Camarda was the odd man out. Just like that, Robbins was the lone punter standing. Now, some teams might look at that and say, all right, we've got our guy problem solved. But that's not how things work here in Buffalo. Tabor was crystal clear. It's still a competition. Brad has not won this job. He understands that. You never know if Jake comes back and Jake's a pro. He'll be ready. That's an important point. This isn't a case of Robbins or bust. Injuries have hit us in a few places lately, which is why we haven't brought in another punter yet. But the door is wide open for another leg to step in before the season kicks off September 7. So, who exactly is Brad Robbins? Well, for one, he's calm, he's steady. He knows his swing and doesn't overthink it. That's exactly the kind of temperament you want in a punter, someone who doesn't crack under pressure. When you're punting from your own 5-yard line in the fourth quarter of a tie game. He played all 17 games for the Bengals as a rookie in 2023, posting a 40.1 net punting average. That's solid, but not elite, meaning he's got plenty of room to grow. He also spent a short stint on injured reserve, but he's healthy now and looking to prove that he belongs in this league for the long haul. And here's the thing, Robbins has a real chance to stick. Right now, the odds are in his favor simply because he's the only guy taking reps. The chemistry he builds with the long snapper and coverage unit during camp could give him an edge. That's hard to replace, even if another punter comes in later. But make no mistake, every punt he takes in camp and preseason is an audition. Every hang time, every directional kick, every chance to pin an opponent inside the 20, it all matters. One shank in a crucial preseason moment could reopen the door for someone like Camarda, or even a surprise name from another team's cut list. It's also worth remembering that the Bills' special teams unit has been one of the more consistent parts of our game over the last few years. We've had reliable kicking, good return units, and disciplined coverage teams. The punter is a key part of that equation, and Sean McDermott isn't going to hand that job to anyone who hasn't earned it. So, here's where things get interesting. With the preseason opener against the Giants coming up, Robbins will have his first live game chance to show Bills Mafia and the coaching staff that he can be the guy. If he bombs a few kicks down inside the 10, gets some serious hang time, and keeps things consistent, the job could quietly be his before we even get to week 3 of the preseason. But if he's inconsistent, if he gives opponents favorable starting field position, well, you better believe Brandon Beane will be on the phone scanning the league for options. And let's not forget, this is Buffalo. We know better than anyone that weather can turn a normal punt into an adventure. The swirling winds at Highmark Stadium in December aren't something every punter can handle. Robbins will have to prove not only that he can hit it far and high, but that he can control the ball in tough conditions. Right now, the story of Brad Robbins is one of opportunity. He's been handed the inside track at a starting NFL job, something a lot of players never get, and now it's up to him to take it and never look back. So here's where we stand. Bills Mafia. Tyler Bass is banged up, but we've got Caden Davis stepping in for now. Khalil Shakir's on the mend, and we're counting down to week 1 for his return. James Cook's contract situation is the big cloud hanging over camp, and there's smoke, maybe just a little, about Micah Parsons possibly becoming a Buffalo Bill. It's a lot to process, but here's the thing. Every one of these situations points to a single truth. This team knows it's close. The front office, the players, the coaching staff, they all know the margin between heartbreak and holding that Lombardi is razor thin. Every decision now, whether it's signing a backup kicker, managing injuries, negotiating contracts, or swinging big on trades, is about giving this team the absolute best chance to win this season. All right, Bills fans, now it's your turn. What's your take? Should Brandon Beane pick up the phone and see if Parsons is really available? Do you think James Cook gets his deal done before week 1? And hey, how confident are you that Bass will be back and ready to go against the Ravens? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I want to hear from every single one of you. And before you go, smash that like button if you love the Bills, subscribe for all the latest updates, and share this with your fellow fans. This is going to be a season to remember, and you're not going to want to miss a second of it. Go Bills!